Raid boss the dualies in the hands of some Pyres as they look to take the control in towards Cave through JDC. It is going to be this delayed hit over towards the B site. Only the one smoke remaining on Dexter. That'll fly out towards short. Hope to lock off one of these angles, but it leaves long again wide open for the taking as they charge on up. Alex trying to bait JDC into that raid boss. Will get 1-for-1 at the very least, and now Sampaius' position is known. A very awkward one as he's stuck in the corner, and Bemis ripping the head clean off Mopos. They're going to go for the clearance here. It's Sampaius only able to grab the one. Needed a little more from the Julies there as 2-on-3 Deaths and Davy G. Well, these are really rough afterplots for them to try and break open. Two players in the cave. Frozen swings for the kill.
And they've pressed the issue over towards B as well, where Frozen's picked off the head of Alex, who got a little bit too adventurous. So that's going to be an early advantage. MOUZ are sitting with a 5-on-4, and they're going to have a chance to punish some further aggression that's coming in.
Movi have to try something. They're going to go for the ramp control here. Nobody really to flash them in, so it's a straight double pick. Freebie for Torzi. Davigi will at least get one, but again, the trade immediately there. And at this point, should be the save for the CT side. That pick from Sampaius may start to tempt them back in, however, with JDC posted. Looking the wrong way for this Death's push as well. Should be a free kill, even 2-on-2 now. The CT side looking to make something of this round. Torzi remains posted on CT, though, and that's going to start to be a problem. Deaths does have the utility to force him back, and in fact he's fallen back of his own accord as the MOUZ look to set themselves into the afterplants. Cave control for Frozen. Torzi's got the ramp. It's a nice setup for the T side. No smoke either to stop that AWP from just peering into the site itself. The flashbang over the top will at least give him a second. Sampaius now posted on the angle, but that bomb so far ticked, so far gone. Deaths with the kit, nowhere near it, and at this point, without a frag being found, there's nothing more the CT side can do. Couple of nice picks in towards mid. Into an even 3-on-3 with the CTs gambling a heavy rotation again over towards this B site. Who can blame them? Had success in the previous. Holding on to A, hoping that that's warded this T side away. It does leave an isolated Deaths. Beamer's posted close main. Just waiting for the timing of a fading smoke. JDC with him as well. If they get this pick, A site wide open for the taking, and Deaths just playing a bit of an off angle here behind the big box. Does he expect the boosted beam as he spots the gun barrel? Clean headshot through the corner of the box. He's got him, and now JDC actually looking a little isolated himself. Frozen was meant to be the rotator, meant to catch off the lurks, and he's got a job to do. Does find one. But with 35 seconds left, he needs to get into this A site now. Needs to give some support to JDC, who's desperately trying to make sure he doesn't drop this bomb before he gets into the site. Charge down, but Death can't quite land the shot, and it's Sampaius again. 1v2 on the AWP. No spam through the smoke this time. He knows JDC is brought down low, thinks about the pistol. But MOUZ are playing this clever. They tuck themselves into long. They boost a man up. They boost the low HP player up. Give him an off angle to play with. Sampaius, no smoke. Molotov to potentially lock out one angle, but it's JDC from on high who deals with him. Sampaius has read the situation well. He's posted in towards the red room. Jumping round the corner. JDC caught through the wall. This one starts to collapse a little bit for MOUZ now. Deaths is still alive and kicking on this A site. Tucks himself behind the boxes. That really gives Torzi nowhere to go in terms of that AWP. He's trying to enable his teammate into a peek. Sampaius spamming away, gives his life up. Deaths can't quite land the shot again. 2 times out of 2, he's been asked to find a kill on that A site, and he's not quite delivered. Opens up the afterplant situation, and Alex tagged up in that early aggression down the B ramp. Got to find 2 here, and he's not going to get any. Again, going to be the target, and again, MOUZ are slowing this right up. Like you said, Dean, playing incredibly slowly into these rounds. And that has bought time for the rotation. It's bought time for a fast flank as well. David G is going to be in towards Cave before they know what's hit them, but Beamer's looking to stabilize things. One big headshot. Alex inside the smoke. Frozen has no idea at all, and Deaths' P250 finds another. Chaos reigning on this B site, and JDC's planning for Cave. They've got no control of that. David G takes him down and takes Bemis as well. It's the pistols, and it's MOUZ. It looks like that set play was going to be in towards A long initially, but the Molotov deep from the CT side has stalled that for a while.
Bemis really has been the one leading the way, so maybe the fact that he's 12-4 and has one of the rifles has influenced them to go for it alongside the op. Definitely could be part of the reason. AVG is about to spot Dexter in on mid. Never mind, the Tech 9 is way too quick. Barely even any damage gets done. What an opening. Dets is going to be blinded up back on A as well, so he gets forced out of position. Still manages to come away with 3 kills somehow. Despite the molly going down, it was just a little bit too late.
From the lane and not from deep inside of the site itself. Mopos going to be the first issue. Frozen, a little bit of magic again, has found a second. Sampire solo in towards this B site. It's a nice Molotov. It splits the offensive, and Frozen, low HP, has to go. Davidji able to punish that as well. And somehow they've wrestled this back into an even 3-on-3 Movi. Torzi doing all he can to deny it. Big shot, and he doubles it as well. Davidji just a little too keen on the peak, and that's it. Or at least it should be. Deaths tucked into dig, thinking about some control. But realistically, just looking at denying these rifles the exit. And that's the difference, right? That's what we're talking about in the pre-game. You've got this perfectly structured. Nice opening pick again, and it's allowed for these rotations. It's allowed for a 3-man B play. Sampire's posted in towards Cave with the AWP as well. As they wander up into this B side, the utility will give them a little bit of breathing room. JDC blinded up though, and Sampire's playing around that pillar brilliantly too already. Can't quite land the quick scope, but his teammates are there to back him up. And Torzi, well, he's got one. Needs 3 more to really make this around. And, well, 30 seconds, he's tapping the bomb. He's desperate for somebody to peek him. The smokes now have faded, and Davidji up close and personal will level things. AWP fires off a shot, can't quite land it, legs at the second time of asking, but Dexter's dealt with him. And now Sampius alone, another big flick onto Bemis this time. Keeps the man advantage the way of this CT side. Davidji makes it 2. Frozen doing all he can on a recovered AWP, actually picks off 2. Drags his team back into this round kicking and screaming, and he's got Temple on lock here. Mopos on an incredibly long flank, and that's going to be the key to this entire round at this point. Alex has no interest in peeking until his teammate is there. And nobody seems to be expecting this. Frozen with his back turned to long should be a free kill. Just a matter of time before he's found, and they're starting to isolate this now. Mopos deals with Torzi. That gives the info to Frozen, but he's stuck in towards Temple in a 1v2. Switches to the tech, and he can't quite connect it. 8-7, the narrowest of Torzi, well, he feels it early. Dinked up. Dexter the next to take a bullet to the skull. They're trying to get onto that bomb. It's going to be Dexter actually to stick it down. The long player needs to swing and needs to do it now. And there it is. Davidji takes the diffuser away. JDC and Frozen find a couple of kills in response, and Alex is left alone. That bomb is a long way gone, but he needs to find the kill. He does. There's a kit on the ground, and that should leave them with just enough time. I think it's going to be right down to the wire. Long. And they've just got to stick the landing, and straight bodies charging into this site. JDC opens things up, spots Alex, deals with him as well, and as much as Sampius gets one, they still need to deal with JDC. The trades have left him alive and kicking deep in towards CT. Half HP, he's flashed in, charges through, and Deaths deals with him. Now this gets awkward as Deaths finds another a triple. Already as Dexter is left in the 1v2, there's a low HP bar to his left, and he'll find it. But he takes a dink in the process, and now with just single digits, Sampius knows he's just got to wait for this peak, wait for this timing. Miracle, and well, heavy stack over towards this B site feels indicative of one flash in, but it doesn't blind up Davidji. Not that it matters. Dexter, run and gun, spams the deagle for 1, and he's got a second as well. Deaths has gone down. They've got full cave control now. JDC Swing and Winder's got a 3rd before there's any kills coming out for the Movistar Riders. Mopos doing what he can on the MAC-10, has managed to grab a double. And for a moment, there's peace and quiet. Mopos continuing to drive by, but this time he will be traded, and it's Sampius. A 1v2, there's no kit, no utility. His CT side have just got to find the kill and get into that site sharpish. Frozen has killed most of the early corners, taps the bomb, baits him wide, dinks his man, and Torzi is there to finish the job. The force buy for the CT side matches, if not bests, that of Movi in the previous. The defuse will come through. It's a 9th round on the board, and this is just a slugfest on Ancient now.
Likely just set up the crossfire. I mean, if they get even 2 kills here as they come forward, drop that bomb, that could be enough to let them get the players in position to try and just win it on time alone. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working out in that regard. Alex needs to get more kills if he wants to make this happen. And he hits a nasty shot on Dexter, living on a single point of health, and then gets the bomb down as well. But it's going to be Sunpius, I think, most of the work that remains that it's going to fall to. Never mind. Somehow Alex gets himself another. Bemas crouches into the angle. It's going to be Torzi who eventually trades it back. But now unaware of where I believe Sunpius is for sure. Has narrowed it down, obviously, since he hasn't been shot at from main. Yet to spot him out, only now getting the vision, and Sunpius on the op only needs to land.
Little do they know, but they are being flanked out all the while. The bomb's still on death, still outside the doors. They could potentially even deny the cross. And with 30 seconds left, that could be criminal. Frozen on the backstab gets one, and it's completely thrown Movi for a loop. Yes, they've got Alex in towards Cave, but they've not got the bomb anywhere near him. Deaths is having to play this so cautiously to join his teammate. And all the presence is here. Alex does a fantastic job, though. Rips Bemis clean out of the round. And Torzi now solo in towards this B site. Flashed off his angle. Will at least concede the plant. Alex aggressive on the angle. Needs another big kill here as Torzi is starting to think about swinging it. Walks into the crosshair, but lands the shot, and it's Deaths on 5 HP. He's found the first, but nothing more. MOUZ will win another epic arm wrestle of a round. And that's scaffolding this time for Torzi, but it's again fast B-pop, and this time there's no counter flashes. Dexter, blinded up, does very well to even find one. They want to retake fast, but this time Bemis is punished. Well, I said it last round. Fool me once, fool me twice. Movi have just charged back up B again, knowing that MOUZ won't expect it twice on the trot. It's worked out absolutely perfectly here. Man advantage. Frozen trying to do what he can to stop that. Has found one, and JDC grabs another in towards short. This becomes viable now. They've got utility. They've isolated the long player. Torzi holding down towards the ramp, but they've got to get on that bomb sharpish. Frozen spam down. He's going to stick the defuse. He knows Sunpius' spam isn't quite going to connect on him. Torzi's got his back. That's a nice little smoke as well. Buys a little more time for that same rotation, and you can see MOUZ are feeling it. They know that there hasn't been the same kind of pressure on B that we've seen in prior rounds. The Flash is trying to draw the rotation away, and oh my goodness, it actually has. This is what I was talking about when we're talking about the experience versus talent. That's drawn a heavy rotate. That was one flashbang, and it's drawn a lot, but Frozen is there. He stands tall. JDC with him to back him up, and those are 3 monumental kills. 30 seconds left on the clock. The flank, fortunately read by Bemis, you have to say, but it leaves Alex 1v5. He tries to play the smoke, but Dexter's too wise to those tricks. It's 16-11. It will be
seconds. I didn't think it would do so. It allowed for MOUZ to get at least into position a bit quicker than they would have otherwise. The problem is now they're playing a B retake without a kit. That is not common.
Yeah, 5v5, retake, no kit, one pop flash to get them in. The smoke goes towards Banana, but there's a lot of bodies inside of the site itself. They need some quick headshots here. Dexter able to deliver at least one, but the crossfires are still there, still established. Torzi doing what he can to rip them apart, but it's Dexter dinked up early on his own 2v0.
This charge down mid is ballsy. There's 3 players already. They've got the backstab on 2 on Banana. If they went any further, they might have actually exposed themselves to Sunpius in on ramp, so it was ideal that they didn't, but eventually he gets a couple. Dets and Davy G are going to step up as well, and now it's a one-on-one with Dexter hanging on to life on 19 health, and his position is known. Or at least relatively.
Davy G seems aware, but not necessarily fully believing of it, right? Knows it was somewhere up B, but doesn't have much more than that. Dexter, of course, can't afford to take any risks, so he'll stay tucked to the corner for now. We'll concede that plant over on the A site relatively freely. And then it becomes a question of how does he want to play this retake. 19 HP, there's guns aplenty on the floor here as that bomb goes down. Dexter start to realise what's up. Going to grab himself that MP9, but again, low on HP. He really needs to get the drop on Davigi here. Needs to isolate that fight. Davigi is waiting for him, tucks himself into pit, makes himself as difficult a target as possible. There is a molly on Dexter here, but he's going to try and cross sight without it. Molly, in fact, goes close sight. Set, though, from the Movistar Riders. They retake that banana control. Dexter wants it back, but 2 players here. This feels very risky. Torzi does manage to nab one over towards A, but Dexter again, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Good damage at least onto Alex, but it does leave JDC a little out in the lurch over on that B-bomb site, and it's going to force a rotation. Torzi starting to work his way around towards the arches, but just at the critical moment stops it, because Movi are heading back into A, and they're heading right back into the jaws of Bemis, although Torzi actually, he's not sure where to go. He's backing in and out of CT, not quite sure where to lock down. Looks to just chance his hand at this A site, and that is going to be the right call here as the hit starts to come in. Bemis perfectly flashed into short. Torzi there to back him up. And that is a lovely little set on the A site from MOUZ as Alex on 11 HP in the 1v3. Should be relatively easy to dispatch of. Torzy turtling inside of the site. Bemis there to greet him. Will go down the AWPer, but Bemis tagged up, now playing around this pillar, giving his headshot angle potentially up to Alex. He knows he's running out of ammo though, and that will eventually nade as well. Takes deaths and Mopos tagged down. Frozen flashback into things. Doesn't want the peak though. Smoke will keep him busy. Death does find one. JDC charging on through is traded though. And now the rotate is so far away. Bemis, he was waiting for the lurk out A. It leaves Dexter completely solo in towards this B site. Bomb, meanwhile, is yet to transition out of dark. Mopos has got to get that done sooner rather than later as Dexter, through the smoke, denies the bomb, doubles it on the MP9 before he goes down. And with 13 seconds left, Pius is thrown into the clutch. He's got to get that plant, and he knows it. Bemis knows it as well. Pius taps once. Bemis doesn't fall for those tricks. 3 seconds left. He knows he can bail. He knows that bomb's not going down. And he knows that Dexter, courtesy of a playing close to the wood. Up on Banana. Smoke fades, and he's isolated. He's alone here. Timing of this swing is really going to be everything at this point. They're trying to use JDC, just baited in lovely by Torzy, hits one, JDC swings wide for the double, Pius spotted, dealt with by the AWPer as well. And Alex last alive, knows he wants a little more damage, swings the corner. Retake with a few players tagged up now. Definitely one that Movi could hold on to. If Pius finds an early pick here, that would be massive. Top first, misses his shot, down to single digits as well. A bullet from death now, Pius as he posts Banana, but he's got Dexter. And that's a huge pick because everyone else is tagged up. Alex deals with one, Bemis traded away, and it's Torzy the AWPer with 2 players. A whisper from death, but he's nowhere near. There's nothing he can do. Movi have pulled off the miracle round. They're the walking wounded, but they've managed to hobble into the B site. And a critical 4th round goes their way as Torzy just picks off one on the retreat. Nice setup to counter this from MOUZ. Dexter out towards long. He'll be smoked away. Can potentially rotate if he wants. Spam through if he feels it. Hit mini pit setup for the 2 remaining A defenders. Bemis mini. Torzy stays scoped in towards short. Dexter is thinking about the timing of this. He's thinking about pushing through that smoke. And if he does, there's bodies. They're looking the wrong way. Pius can't react in time. And now it's into the meat grinder they go. Bemis and Dexter a kill apiece. Torzy, torn between 2 angles, will go down. But it's Bemis continuing to get and now Frozen. In need of a huge round here. They're going to push on up. And the peak. The timing is disgusting. Frozen with 3. Yes, he gets the kill over on A, but that's the bomb down. Bottom of Banana with 25 seconds left on the clock. Frozen, 8 HP, the hero of the hour. And with just 20 seconds, when this bomb is recovered, I think there's only really one site that can be hit. It's going to be Frozen tested again. Death's on full HP. Makes you think maybe this is just a little more viable. Frozen with a decision to make. Looks to deny potentially on the crosshair. He's spotted it. 4 seconds. If he swings wide now, it's job done, and there 28 HP, he's close. Frozen now under pressure, needs to find this kill, and on 1 HP, Mopos will deal with him. Opens up the B site on a timing. Smoke towards CT will lock JDC out. He'll head round to Coffins instead. And as they look to cross, the spam from Dexter not quite connecting, but low HP bars for JDC to try and exploit, and he's got 2. As much as David G deals with Dexter in towards CT, it's JDC still alive and kicking on those Coffins, making a nuisance of himself. G on 5 HP will switch to the AWP. Looks to peek into CT itself. The flash is good, but doesn't quite catch the AWPer. Even 2 on 2 now, but those HP bars start to become an issue. JDC spots both. Brings Deaths down to 38. Bemis' position is known, and Deaths hits the headshot. 10-5 at the half. Pistols to try and hold this one down. The flashes are fantastic. They blinded everyone up, but they're still into the site regardless. Mopos, 1 shot from Death will go down to Dexter. Deaths grabs 1, a second on the P250 as he tries to keep his team's hopes alive. Flirting with the edge of that smoke, and he's got Dexter dead to rights as well. It's Torzy thrown into a 1v2. That should never have happened. Pius fast on the rotate, but I don't think he'll get there in time. That bomb at the very least should go down. And Torzy will have to clutch this one up.
Yeah, not even at full health himself. Will at least have the chance for the initial 1v1 here before the second player rotates over. And as he deals with Pius cleanly, he shouldn't have too much trouble. But then again, looking at Deaths, he's already got 3 kills for himself. He's been having a great round, so I'm not going to count them out. Could land 1 straight up headshot with that P250 and it would be enough. Torzy's fallen all the way back in towards mid though.
He's got no idea. He's got no idea where he's coming from, so he's got to play it so cautiously here.
You can presume there's no kit as well, to be fair.
And that caution's going to pay off as well. Death's inside of the site itself, burns a ton of time clearing a few angles, and Torzy, he'll just retreat into the apps. He'll hear Death's on the escape. He'll go down to the bomb as well.
Working as a one-way. And in the meantime, they still don't even know where exactly the commitment's going to come in. That's a bit of an issue, though. JDC takes that peek in on mid quite a bit before the rest of his team are actually ready to push forward.
Gives them a little bit of something to work with on that CT side as well. David needed that kill on the balcony, can't quite find it, and Pius missing the shot onto Bemis through the mini wall. He will get it, but Torzy immediately there for the trade. And at this point, Deaths, he scrambled over to that B site expecting a fast play. Now he's going to have to save there instead. I thought you were right, Dean. I thought that panic molly followed by the smoke and the flash would have given MOUZ the idea that they only had one there and he was very rapidly rotating in, but happy to slow it down, happy to hit that A site regardless and finding the connection. 14 on the board. He's actually, just as I say that, picked up a smoke and a flash that was on the floor in towards CT, so it's nice enough, but it's going to be the B-pop. They time it a little later than I thought, but Dexter gets him regardless. Free kill for the first. Frozen trades his death well, and now Deaths has got to do the same and more. Bomb going down. JDC caught on the timing. Deaths gets two, almost the third, but he can't quite rein the spray in. Both of these players now out towards Banana, but there's no smoke. Nothing to stop them from holding this bomb as the defuse is tapped. And that could well prove critical. Pius throws in his HE. It doesn't do enough. One will tap, one will stick. Deaths will stick. The timing on this is going to be everything. Pius gets one, but it's going to be the defuse regardless. Torzy takes everyone out of the server, but a good bit of utility as well. You can see MOUZ are still keen to contest this. Hot flash over the top. There's a three-man setup here for the CT side. There is plenty of bodies to deal with this. Frozen's found the first of them. Finds the second as well. Deaths asked so much of him in the previous. This time he gets nothing. The B site is overran. Pius and David are planning their rotations, but they're a long way from home. They know there was a lurker as well. Bemis is still there, still probing out of Boiler, making sure Pius on that AWP cannot rotate anytime soon. And David, as much as Pius finds the pick onto Bemis, he's stuck behind a deep CT smoke with a mag 7 in his hands. He spots out Torzy top first. But it really is all in the hands of this AWPer, because you can't ask anything of David in this situation. He's trying to jump through the smokes. He's found for free. Pius, he'll get Torzy top of first oranges, but there's 3 more to be found. That bomb already halfway ticked. He needs a peek from somebody, and MOUZ are just not going to give it to him. Dexter only just starting to shoulder this angle, and job done. 16-6. It will be MOUZ who take themselves the clean 2.